Why was a novice late to morning prayers? 'Cause he overswept! Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Morgan and bid you all welcome back to Gothic 2. Before we begin today, I want to remind you, or possibly first inform you, of the Discord channel or server that I have established, which I mentioned at the end of the last episode. I actually meant to mention it at the beginning, but I failed to. So a lot of people probably didn't get the message. But yes, link will be in the description below. It's a place for not only just random banter and chatting about Gothic and video-related stuff, but it's also where I shall make announcements for streams, upcoming videos, any changes to the channel, anything that's going on, and just where we can kind of have an ongoing chat with everybody, since the YouTube comments are not really conducive for that kind of conversation. But if you missed it, go ahead, join with the link down below. Should be the permanent link, since I kept screwing that up last time. But anyway, today we are moving on. We joined the monastery last time. It seems that this was not quite the fast track to getting the Eye of Innos or seeing the paladins that we hoped it was, but it be how it is. So we've got a bunch of tasks that we have to take care of before we can, before we can get into the library, where at least we can get some magic studies going. First thing we have to do is get some people to sweep the chambers for us, but Babo is the last person willing to do it, and he requests a Fist of Wind in order to give us an assist with that. Now you can purchase it from old Gorax here. I believe he carries one. But there's actually another way to get one, and unfortunately it begins with working for this guy.
Do you have an assignment for me?
You novices have worked hard lately, and those who work a lot shall eat a lot too. I'm giving you a key to the larder. You'll find some mutton sausages there. Distribute them among the novices, but fairly. Once you've done that, you can come see me again.
So, if for some reason this shows up now, be careful that you don't click on it by accident, because as soon as you suggest that you finish the task, whether or not you've done it, it finishes the quest. And if you haven't done it correctly, it fails the quest. So just be warned of that. Gorax actually has 2 quests for us, and for some reason he is the only task giver of the mages whose quest or task that we can actually fail, which is odd. Everyone else doesn't really have a failure state for theirs, but Gorax, I guess because his involve actually going around and giving stuff away, means that if you chose to either do it incorrectly or pocket what was left, then you can do so and just take the loss on him. As far as I know, it is not possible to basically soft lock yourself by doing the quests incorrectly, because, well, then you would never be able to become a mage. Kind of like in Elex, where if you didn't do all the quests exactly right, then you would kind of lock yourself out of being able to join the Berserkers, as I discovered when I did my playthrough, which was a very annoying discovery. Left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. Okay, them some sausages, but not the sausages we're looking for. Those are in here. 14 sausages, for a total of 14 novices, including ourselves. Now, the only way to complete this is to give 1 sausage to every single novice. Some people, of course, will try and put one over on you and get you to give them a bonus sausage. But we'll see the proper way to deal with that.
Would you like a sausage?
Ah, delicious that. Thank you so much, brother.
Unfortunately, we have to watch every single one of them eat it, but luckily it doesn't take nearly as long to watch that animation as it did watching all the peasants in the rice fields in the first game drink the water that you gave them. So at least there's that. Now, I recommend you follow my process for doing this, because I learned during the live stream, thanks to some fellows whose names I unfortunately cannot remember at this time, taught me that... Something ain't right here. Apologies, my microphone was looking suspicious. What was I saying? So yeah, like I said, some people will try and get an extra sausage out of you, but during the live stream, I was taught by a viewer, who unfortunately I cannot remember who it was, that it is possible to kind of cheat one of the fellows and get your reward anyway. But Babo here is the first who's going to ask for something extra.
Here, have a sausage.
Oh, mutton sausage is great. They taste the best. Come on, give me another sausage.
Then I won't have enough left for the others.
You have one sausage too many anyway, namely the one for you. And what's a sausage among friends? Come on, I'll give you a fire arrow spell scroll for it.
Well, geez, apparently a sausage between friends is nothing for a little starvation, but we can give it.
All right, here, take another.
All right, here's your spell scroll.
Fire arrow is not really a worthwhile spell, but we will actually need that later.
Hey! Would you like a sausage?
Sure, give it here. A sausage like this is not to be sneezed at.
Who the hell would sneeze at a sausage? Shouldn't sneeze at anything. That's how you get the coronavirus.
How about a delicious mutton sausage?
I wouldn't say no to that. Thanks. That's just what I needed.
Well, enjoy. Whoops, I took a weed.
How about a delicious mutton sausage?
I wouldn't say no to that.
You're welcome.
Hey! Here, I've got a mutton sausage for you.
Sheep sausage, sheep cheese, sheep milker. It's getting so I can't stand the sight of it.
So, do you want the sausage or not?
Oh, give it here already.
Yeah, that's right. You eat your sausage and you like it.
Hey, you! I'm busy distributing sausages.
Thanks. Hopefully that won't be the last sausage I get around here.
I guess sausages are the thing he appreciates the most in this place. Ain't no novices in the chapel.
I'm busy distributing sausages.
So you work for Gorax, huh? All right. Pass the sausage, then.
I don't work for Gorax, I'm just doing a task. Also, you and Cavalorn seem to be related somehow. Don't forget the fellows in here.
I need help sweeping the novices' chambers.
Brother, I know the situation you're in, and I already told...
That's actually funny. I didn't know you could keep approaching them about this stuff.
How about a delicious mutton sausage?
I wouldn't say no to that.
Wonder what the other ones say. Probably would be distasteful to give Opolis a mutton sausage right in front of the sheep. Also, where the hell did Betsy go? Did you eat her already?
I've got this mutton sausage here.
Oh man, fantastic. Finally another delicious mutton sausage.
Also, I should have mentioned when we picked it up, we actually found Neoras's recipe in the basement. A recipe for a magic essence, which actually is not just a magic essence, it's also the other two, an extract and an elixir. I actually find it hilarious that Neoras apparently requires this recipe, considering this is the most basic potion formula that you can think of, and it's available just about anywhere. But yes, Opolis asked to see it, and actually you should make sure you give it to him first, because Neoras, of course, will not give it back. But if you give it to Opolis, he just wants to take a gander at it.
I've got the recipe you wanted.
Good. Then let me read it. Yes, I see. Good. Thanks a lot. If you want, you can train with me.
Well, we don't need no training. Although I will say this recipe doesn't really... This recipe seems even less useful than usual recipes because it doesn't even tell you how to prepare it. It just tells you what, you know, the basic ingredients you require, not even the proportions.
I need help sweeping the novices' chambers.
But I already promised. You helped me, and I'll help you.
Would you like a...
Sure.
Don't sneeze at my sausage. Got one fellow left in here. Now, of course, the one that we forgot about is one standing outside. Outside the walls of the monastery. The one everyone forgets about.
I need help
Hey, brother, I'm already helping you. You don't have to talk me into it.
Would you like...
Sure, give it here.
Alright, so we've only got one sausage left to be sneezed at. We've already given away our own, so this is the last one we got.
Good of you to think of me. Usually, I am forgotten. You could let me have another sausage.
Forget it. I won't have enough then.
I already don't have
One
enough.
sausage. Nobody will notice that. You'll get something for it. I know a place where some fire nettles grow. If you take them to Neras, he'll surely give you the key to the library. What do you say?
Oh, surely? I don't think he's the one who carries the key.
Okay, have another sausage.
All right. Some fire nettles are growing to the left and right on the other side of the bridge.
So, two things you'll notice there is that we didn't have a sausage to give him, but he didn't seem to notice. So, we got away with completing that without giving him a sausage. But, second thing is that you would have most likely collected these fire nettles on your way to the monastery for the first time. So that is the most useless hint you could get in this game. And I still get so angry about that. Because I actually screwed this quest up the first time I did it, way back in the day when I was a young little Morganan. Because I gave him the bonus sausage, because for some reason I approached him before doing the rest of them. And I gave him and Babo the bonus sausages, and his tip was so useless that I couldn't believe I allowed myself to fail Gorax's quest for it. But yes, you do in fact get the 7 fire nettles that Neras demands of you. Just by going down there. But even by now, you should have collected a lot more than that. So still a useless tip. Regardless, when we bring... I forget which... we'll find out in a second, but which of these 2 quests rewards us with the Fist of Wind spell. Also, the last part of this, which I didn't even notice until I did a test run of this. The hilarious thing is that this recipe that we find on Neras' behalf is right on the book behind him as well, in greater detail. So why the hell has he been jonesing for this recipe so much?
About your recipe, I found it.
Good. I was afraid it was lost for good. Here, take this magic potion as a sign of my gratitude.
Well, at least he made us a potion for us after all.
I've got some fire nettles for you.
Excellent. I can work with that. Take this Fist of Wind spell scroll for your help.
There we go. Love it when one quest takes care of another. So that's the last thing we need. Now we can get Babo to help us.
About the spell scroll.
Do you have a Fist of Wind spell for me?
Here's the spell scroll you wanted.
That's good. Then I'll help you clean the chambers.
Great.
Wait a minute.
Oh, we don't get to do that with him because he's not a generic novice. Alright, old man. Quest complete.
About the novices' chambers.
You actually managed to find 4 novices to help you. I think they can now return to their daily work. Well done, Novice. You have accomplished the task I set you.
We didn't even give Babo any time to take care of it. Well, at least Igaraz has his chatting buddy back. So Marduk asked us to say a prayer for the Paladins. But I never talked to this guy before we do that. I don't know why it never occurred to me.
Be with you. What can I do for you?
What are you doing here?
I am praying to Innos that he strengthen my arm and my will. Thus I am armed against all dangers, and shall destroy all his enemies in order to do him honor.
What enemies?
All those who oppose the will of Innos, whether they be human-born or summoned creature.
Well, I think just about any creature, summoned or otherwise, doesn't really have any interest in the will of Innos.
Can you go through a few exercises with Babo?
Why doesn't he ask me himself?
I think he's shy.
I see. Good. If it means so much to him, I shall train with him every morning for 2 hours. We begin at 5 o'clock. Tell him that.
I think somebody who's too timid to even approach you probably would not benefit from much combat instruction.
Why aren't you with the other paladins?
It may seem unusual that I am here. However, we paladins also serve the magicians, for they preach the will of Innos. We paladins are warriors in the name of Innos. His will is our law. At the moment, I am waiting for new orders from the magicians.
And do you already have new orders?
Until then, I still have time to find strength in prayer.
Well, I would suggest finding strength in some exercise. Do a little cardio. What's the point of standing around here all day? Innos, extend your hand over your vassals, bless them with your fire, and grant them strength to fight bravely in your name for victory or death, according to your will. Preferably victory.
You have prayed for my brethren. I want to thank you for that. Tell me what I can do for you.
So you can ask, and he will teach you some two-handed skill. I forget how much. But I think a little jingle in our pocket would go further.
What about a little donation?
May this gold be of use to you.
Not a bad price.
I need access to the library.
Well, I cannot grant you access. For that, you must first fulfill your tasks. But I can help you. Go to Master Iskoroth and talk to him. I have heard that he needs help, and I would go to him, but I passed this task on to you.
Well, so you were waiting for new orders, you had your chance, and you apparently ignored it until I came along. So it really doesn't sound like you're in a hurry to get anything done. I always found it funny how our normal outfit still shows up under the other outfits that we get. And as far as I know, this is the only one where we see the sleeves underneath it. Because normally completely overlaps it. But at least that's better than Gothic 3, where it'll actually change the shape and color of your arms to fit the outfit that you're wearing, which is hilarious to me. And even give you tattoos if you wear the Druid's outfit, I think. But anyway, we gave out sausages.
I've distributed the sausages.
And you have done so fairly. Take these spell scrolls of healing and go back to your work.
Speaking of work...
Do you have another assignment for me?
Yes. As you know, we make an excellent wine here, and we sell it too. Orlan, the landlord of the inn, the Dead Harpy, has ordered a shipment. We've agreed to 240 gold pieces for the bottles. Bring him these bottles. But don't let him shortchange you.
Alright, so I'm curious about the math on that. Where's the wine? So 240 gold pieces for 12 bottles. I guess that's pretty much exactly right. So you'll notice that he has a staff equipped now. That is actually an interesting staff. I don't think we saw it before. We're gonna have him unequip it so we can see it. And as I told you before, the only way to really do that is using Marvin mode to cheat, make him unequip it, and go back to you.
I need a few.
This wand is called Ulthar Enchanted this wand. And it's got no real magic perks to it whatsoever. It's got a slight bonus to two-handed weapons. It has a good ratio of strength to damage. So, for that reason, it's actually not bad. But we're not really interested in that. It's kind of a one-up from this one. What's more interesting is this magic wand here, which does a decent amount of damage, and most curiously of all, it actually requires a certain amount of mana. So if we purchase that, we can't equip it, but we can hang on to that for later. Now that we have joined the monastery, it is actually worth our while to invest in mana, so we can finally put these learning points to work. But it is slightly better in damage than this short sword. The only difference is it's a two-handed weapon, which means we will have a bit more trouble in combat later, for the reasons that two-handed weapons have, which, let me remind you, the main reason it's difficult is because the backstep now takes twice as long, because for some reason it has this additional, like, half stagger step. As far as I know, you are protected during the whole animation there, so you still get a longer iframe for it, but it throws off my timing so much that it's pretty much the main reason I almost never use two-handed weapons. But what I like about this is the 20 mana bonus, which is very helpful early on in the game.
Can't go on like this forever.
How can I learn the art of magic?
You are not here to receive the gift of magic. You are here to serve Innos. But I can show you how to increase your magic power.
So we shall do that. Now the trick with these abilities, as I mentioned last time, the vanilla game didn't have I don't remember about mana, but the vanilla game did not have a sort of scaling learning point requirement with attributes, only with weapon skills. I think. I don't remember what I said last time. Go ahead, go watch it and figure it out. But the trick with this is that it is every 30 points is when it scales up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get to 29. We're at 13 now. So that's 18, 23, 28, 29. So once we get to 30, everything doubles. So as you see, we're now at 29. If we want to get the best bang for our buck, we'll get to 29. We'll get to right under the threshold. So that's 29, 59, 89, 129, I guess? No, 119. Stuff like that. Get to the threshold, and then buy the most that you can. So you can see it's now doubled. Every point costs 2 learning points, but we got 5 at the cost of 1 apiece by doing it that way.
That was no big deal.
So that's a little cheap way you can save some learning points, which in the long run really pays off. So I suggest you stay on top of that. In my old walkthrough, I didn't really bother, and it's part of the reason why my mage run in that one was such a failure. So anyway, I'll just throw down one more, so at least we have a nice multiple of 5 going on. But that also lets us equip this. It's got a nice blue sparkle effect to it as well. But as you can see, that now gives us 55 mana. So we're already got a decent amount of mana. So if we were to try and use a lot of spell scrolls, they would go a long way now. But as we'll learn, that's more important for rune magic, because for some reason, in the Night of the Raven, actually, another thing I meant to double check. I'm pretty sure in the vanilla game, spell scrolls actually cost the same amount of mana that their rune versions did. But in this game, anything that's just a single, like, button press to cast, the spell scroll version only costs 5 mana, which includes really powerful spells like Fire Rain. The exceptions are ones they have to charge up, such as the large fireball, which we can just barely be able to use this now. We can only use it on its weakest setting, so it's not really worth using at all. So anyway, we need to talk to Master Isgaroth. Because Sergio is pawning off his Paladinian duties on us.
Hey. Sergio sent me. I've taken over his task. So what is it?
A dark wolf has been roaming the area recently. Track it down and kill it. May Innos watch over you always.
Oh boy. Big, spooky dark wolf. Sure, it will be a formidable foe. Well, that looks wolfy and that looks dark. Come here, damn beast. A black wolf, eh? Well, get on my face. So you can see what I mean about the backstep. Really slows down my my game. And since that also means it gives enemies more time to recover from an attack animation, it makes it a lot harder to exploit their behaviors. So, next task is to drop off this fine wine with old Orlan. And Gorax warned us that he would try and stiff us on the price. So let's be conscious of that.
Nobody wants to know.
I'm bringing the wine from the monastery.
Excellent. That's what I've been waiting for. I've already agreed on the price with Master Gorax. I'll give you the 100 gold coins straight away.
You just have to listen.
Are you trying to pull a fast one? The price is 240 gold coins.
So, Gorax warned you, did he?
That's no secret.
All right. Well, maybe the two of us can do a bit of business. Look, I'll give you 100 gold pieces for the wine. You tell Gorax that I pulled the wool over your eyes, and you'll get 4 spell scrolls from me.
What kind of spell scrolls are they?
No idea. I don't know anything about that. They're from a guest who, forgot them here. Yeah.
Forgot him, you say? I think that you stole him. Probably from a mage who was just here to take a breather before moving on to the monastery. So, if you want the scrolls, you can actually still get them and complete the quest properly. Just bear in mind, you're paying up the 140 difference.
Alright, sounds fair enough. Give me those spell scrolls.
Here are the spell scrolls and the gold.
So unfortunately, I forgot to actually make sure I knew what they were. So we'll compare from when I opened my inventory earlier, but I believe it was one of these, one of these, one of these, something else. At the end of the day, I don't think it's anything really worthwhile. So, and I don't think it's anything that you can sell for the 120 gold, 140 gold difference. So if you're hoping to get a little extra out of it, it doesn't really pay off. But as I mentioned, you can just pay up the difference if you wanted the scrolls for whatever reason. You can pay up the difference. It is also possible to take the 240 gold and still insist to Gorax that Orlan stiffed you. That way you get to pocket the 140 difference, but you don't get the XP for completing the quest properly. And again, completing Gorax's quests is not essential to being able to enter the library. But it just means you wouldn't have to... If you do his, and that's 2 fewer you have to do for anybody else. But given that to complete one of his requires us to go all the way out there anyway, and this wine delivery one is the longest one out of all of them, there's really no sense in skipping any. And 140 gold is not worth it.
He really should have known better.
I went to see Orlan.
And? Did you get the 240 gold coins?
We shall pretend we did.
I've got the gold.
Excellent. You're really useful. Take this spell scroll of healing as a reward. Now go and find yourself something else to do.
Well, I think we've done enough here. Nobody else seems to have anything more for us to do. Give us another scroll of healing. Scrolls of healing I almost never use. And you accumulate so many, I almost feel like you don't really need the scrolls.
That's just what I said.
But you can see the healing factor of these is actually better than potions.
That's totally obvious.
And considering the price comparison, that's actually not that bad. The only difference is, of course, you have to invest mana in order to use them. But I think they're more effective. They're a more effective healing method in general.
Can I have access to the library?
You have obtained fire nettles for Brother Neras. You have found Brother Neras's recipe. You have succeeded in finding 4 novices, and thus cleaned the chambers. You have distributed the food to the novices fairly, as Brother Gorax instructed you. You have sold the wine to Gorax's satisfaction. Yes, you have worked enough. Now it is time for you to study the teachings of Innos. Speak to Master Highglass in the library. I hereby give you the key.
What an honor. Alright, now we can see what magic is all about.
About the library.
You lucky duck. You got the key to the library, even though you've only been here for a short while. Use your chance and study the old scriptures.
It's amazing how much quicker we can get stuff done when we're not locked down to a single task like the rest of these chumps. So there's 2 gentlemen in here.
What can I do for you, Novice?
What exactly is your job?
It is my responsibility to train mages in the art of spherical manifestation.
What does that mean?
Well, I teach them how to summon creatures or beings from other states or spheres. This is usually called summoning, although this expression alone is insufficient for the art of calling a servant. Furthermore, I own some interesting spell scrolls which Gorax does not have, but I only make them available to members of the Order.
Well, damn, I wanted to see him.
I've come to read the scriptures.
I understand. If you can ever make some time between your tedious studies, come to me. There is yet another matter for which I could use a discreet novice.
Oh, I'm discreet as fuck.
You have an assignment for me?
Yes. It's about this crazy Ignaz. He lives in Corinus and experiments with various potions and healing drafts.
Oh, we're familiar.
But also magic spells. And that's exactly what worries me. I ask myself if his magic is pleasing to Innos. In order to test this, I need some of his spell scrolls. I want you to go into the city and obtain 3 of his spell scrolls for me. But not a word to anyone. Is that clear?
Sure.
Here are 150 gold pieces. That should cover your expenses.
Oh, that more than covers them. In fact, exceeds them by about 150 gold, since we've already got them.
Spell scrolls you wanted.
Well done, my young friend. But now, it is time that you devote yourself to your studies, and take this spell scroll as a reward.
You know, I always wondered. I don't think there are many, works of fiction that really elaborate on how a spell scroll functions. Like, is it just a scribbling of an incantation to use a spell? And if so, why does it disappear every time you use it? Or is it got some kind of, like, runic thing going on that allows you to essentially invoke the magic from the parchment as though it were a magic catalyst? The only difference is being a parchment, it perhaps does not have the structural integrity to survive the incantation, and therefore disintegrates as soon as you use it. I don't know. This already feels like I'm coming up with more answers than anybody else has ever bothered. Here's another gentleman.
Hey, you!
I am Master Highglass, guardian of the fire and keeper of the knowledge. So Master Parlin has given you permission to study the scriptures.
Damn straight.
It's up to you now to do exactly that. Study, so that you may find enlightenment in the scriptures.
What are you studying, Master?
My research focuses on fire, the power of Innos. It is his gift and at the same time a mighty weapon. and I create runes which contain his power.
Very enlightening. Can you teach me that?
It is in us who grants the magic. Only to his servants, the magicians of fire, is it given to learn how to wield this power.
You know, I gotta say, this game's lighting engine seemed like it was pretty advanced for the time period. I can't think of many other games that actually had this kind of like shadow effect on character models as good as this game had it, where, you know, the way you, I don't know, like how shadows work, you know? I don't know, there aren't a lot of games I think did it as well as this, with like a kind of a reliable, persistent light source, which is weird because there's no, like, nobody casts a shadow in this game, but it works so well on the models themselves. So anyway, there's a lot of book stands around. These all are, they are just instructions on the ingredients to create runes for each spell circle. Now, as in the first game, there are 6 spells, circles of magic, and each have a series of spells. Some of them more than others. Most of them have at least 4 or 5. I will say the 3rd circle spells generally seem to be the least useful to me, in my opinion. Some people swear by the small firestorm. I don't find it that necessary. Fear can be incidentally useful. Ice block is very useful. Maybe I'm lying, because skeletons are useful, but ball lightning, I have never found any enemy that is that vulnerable to ball lightning. Maybe it's just me. I guess I would actually say 2nd circle might be the least useful, other than the 1st. Yeah, maybe I'm just talking shit. I don't know if I brought this up before you, but you notice the line on the left of the screen anytime you're opening a book. I think that was never noticed before, because this game was obviously made back at the time when everyone had 4:3 aspect ratio monitors, so that was always cut off the edge of the screen, and only in widescreen did it finally reveal itself. So anyway, none of these books are actually useful, none of them are what we're looking for. We want this bad boy over here. The Test of Fire. Though a novice may feel ready to submit to the test of magic, he may not necessarily be chosen. If, however, he has given his decision ample consideration, and if he insists, he is accorded the right to demand the test, and no magician may deny it to him. But not only must he pass the test of magic, he must also find enlightenment through the fire. If he insists before the High Council, then he shall be submitted to the test of fire. The test should challenge the wisdom, strength, and dexterity of the novice. Therefore, he must pass 3 trials, each of which is set before him by a magician of the High Council before taking the oath of fire to join the pact with the fire. Such is the will of Innos, and so shall it be done, the High Council. So when I was younger, I never understood why we had to pass 3 tests when no one else did. And as it turns out, I just, for some reason, never differentiated between the test of magic and the test of fire. So the test of magic is what people are chosen to. We're going to find out who the chosen were in a second. Igaraz seemed to think that he was about to be chosen. We're about to find out whether or not that was true. But novices who are not chosen can still demand it, in which case they actually have to pass a much more rigorous test. Since they were not chosen to participate, it's kind of they have to go the extra mile to prove themselves, which is what we're about to get involved in. Now, I realize this is going to be a short episode, but I want to save the test of fire for its own thing here. So before we approach the High Council and make our demands, as is our right accorded to Innos, I will say, thank you all very kindly for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, once again, that we are on Discord, and you can join everyone over there. Not a whole lot of people yet, but maybe there will be more now that I have gotten the word out a bit better. Otherwise, don't forget to follow me on Twitch and subscribe to my stream archive channel. Links in the description below as always. Follow me on Twitter, which is going to be a lot less relevant now that Discord is going on. But, other than that, have yourselves a wonderful week.
Who told you that?
I used to say that myself.
That's totally obvious.
That's no secret.